Guess what, Steve? Guess what we're doing today.
What are we doing today?
Guess! I said guess!
Oh! We're talking and laughing and going over a video game from 1937.
No, you're incorrect. We're actually still doing the
Okay.
Word of Blake. This is the Word of Blake Part 3.
White Jerome, no!
It will never end. Never. We're stuck on Mr. Bones' wild ride forever. We will never get off.
You can check out whenever you want though. But you're not fucking leaving. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not joking about that, by the way. This is like gonna involve the Word of Blake very heavily.
Oh
we
my
can't.
God.
Yeah, we can't get away from it. It started as a single members choice video for the Word of Blake, and then it became 2 videos, and now it's 3, and it just won't end. This is hell, Steve. This is what hell is, just in case you were wondering. Except this time, we're not doing it because the peanut gallery that we call channel members demanded we do it, and I was dumb enough to give them the option. This time, we're sponsored, except not exactly. Look, long story short, wake up Mech Warrior, a new MechAssault game just dropped. Get your ass in here, we've got stuff to do. This video is going to mostly be a look into the non-canon and absolutely absurd MechAssault series, and end off with a mini review of a fan-made MechAssault sequel with humble beginnings and very impressive dreams. Unfortunately for us, the MechAssault series takes place during the Jihad, which means we're back to Blake, baby! This time, though, people can't yell at us in the comments for getting things wrong or getting tired or being done with life by the end of it, because it's all nonsense and hopefully isn't going to last that long. Are you excited, Steve?
Yes.
Wonderful. So this video is going to be half about the story and world of MechAssault, half about the history of the games, and half a sponsored video on Spiritual MechAssault 3 being developed by fans, like I said. And when I said that we were sponsored, we are like not sponsored at all, not even a little bit. They crashed a truck through my wall and asked if I'd like to give their project some screen time, and I was like, yeah, okay, sure. It would have been nice to get like a yacht or a private jet or a small donation of $1 million. A heavy wink, wink, nod, nod. But you know, whatever, it's fine. Doesn't really matter.
I believe they gotta call that a loan, actually. It's not a donation.
Small loan of $1 million, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyways, MechAssault is the weird middle child of BattleTech that doesn't look like either of the parents, and people kind of give side-eye to, and it's sandwiched between Tabletop and the Mech Warrior series. A lot of hardcore BattleTech fans did not like it because it was super arcadified and was very dumbed down version of the setting. All the weapons worked different, there was no mech components, only a single overall health bar. You could magically upgrade your weapons to be more purple mid-mission, and it was released during the absolute worst decade in BattleTech's history when everything was kind of going to shit, no new content was being made, and people were kind of wondering if it was about to die.
Did we say more purple? We can change our weapons to be more purple in the middle of a battle here?
Yes, that's what the upgrades
Okay.
do. Generally, you go from like green lasers to red lasers to purple lasers, and you go from blue particle cannons to purple particle cannons to glowing purple. Look, it's just everything becomes more purple with MechAssault, okay?
So we're simply bleeding our lasers here, but instead of going to red, we're going to purple, and then I don't know.
Look, okay, I said it didn't make sense. I told you before we started that everything about MechAssault is just memes and chaos from top to bottom, but just roll with it, okay? MechAssault also does this weird thing with mech names where they just straight up reused mech models like copy-paste, but then changed the names and gave them new weapons and pretended it was a new mech class. Do you remember, like, the Timberwolf, the whole thing with that, and its reporting name, the Mad Cat?
Somewhat.
Okay, so that's a very blatant no, thank you for that.
Yeah.
So the Timberwolf is a clan mech, it's like the face of the clan invasion, and the Inner Sphere's reporting name for it was the Mad Cat because they kept, the computer system couldn't figure out whether it was looking at a catapult or a marauder, so it just kept switching between the two.
Is it the middle red one in that middle image that you posted?
No, it's actually the bottom one.
Okay.
You're looking at the Mad Cat from the back.
What?
It's the one with the giant, the giant box shoulder missile things.
Are we saying that the middle picture does not have giant box shoulder missiles? Slightly different box shoulder missiles.
Okay, you know what? Fine, fair enough. They both have box shoulder missiles, but it's the bottom one. You're looking at the bottom one there, okay? Anyway, so what MechAssault did was they said, okay, the Mad Cat and the Timberwolf are now 2 separate classes of mechs, which is an amazing way to confuse the hell out of people if they tried to Google this stuff later on and they get directed to BattleTech proper, but it's also a wonderful way to double the mileage you get out of any of your assets. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like it. However, a lot more people did, because the same thing that the Grognards hated made the game infinitely more accessible to a wider audience. I mean, like, Jesus Christ, BattleTech proper is literally Combat Math the game, now with added rules lawyering. It goes so deep that there are actually rules for engaging mechs in melee as infantry wielding nunchucks. No, I'm not joking. Here, I can pull up the data for it. I'll send you a fucking this is so stupid. I can't remember if this is actually canon or not, or if this is like a fan patch, but here's a giant equipment table for BattleTech for conventional infantry weapons. You'll notice that nunchucks are on there, and they do 0.02 damage per nunchuck per swing per battle round. So you have to hit a mech 50 times to do 1 point of damage. It's wonderful. Good luck with that.
It's simply fantastic.
Yeah, the vast majority of actual BattleTech games are going to end way before you can even do 1 point of damage with these things. It's insanity. Gotta love it.
Nah, trust they're viable.
I mean, if you have like 10,000 infantry, I guess you can overwhelm them with just pure numbers. So, MechAssault being a twin-stick shoot-'em-up where you could blast your way through buildings, mechs, infantry, all that stuff, made it instantly playable for a huge number of people, a lot of which would go on to enjoy the rest of BattleTech's offerings. It was also on console, which at around this time was the method of choice for young people to get into gaming, coupled with the fact that MechAssault was one of the first Xbox games to use Xbox Live and like actually matchmake PvP and like grinder games and stuff. MechAssault turned out to be their gateway drug into big stompy robots. The second release, MechAssault Lone Wolf, also introduced things like tanks, power armor, and more that you could play as, so fans of the first game got to enjoy playing as all the things they were obliterating in the first game. Lone Wolf also introduced mech mantling, which is, you know what, you know how you can do stuff in Titanfall where you can like climb all over mechs and shit?
Yeah.
You could do that in MechAssault 2, except instead of like climbing all over them and fighting from them, you would just zap the pilot with your lightning gauntlet and like lobotomize them and fire them out of the mech to take it over, which is, it's quite funny, but...
I believe that classifies as absolute cinema.
I mean, I guess technically it is canon because elementals do like crawl over battle mechs all the time and rip pilots out of them. It's just generally you don't then get in the mech after doing that. Whatever, who cares?
Yeah, but I mean, we're just gonna leave the mech lying around? I mean, we might as well use it.
Well, I mean, you just break the controls.
We can use it for parts later.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Well, okay, not if you pilot it into combat. If you take over the mech, you've already damaged the cockpit, and then you walk it into battle, and then you get shot to shit. Like, it would be better to just leave it there if you're looking for salvage, because then you just get, like, a whole mech, and you just need to rinse the dude that was in there before out of the cockpit, and hey, presto, there you go.
Yeah, but you see, you could still do both.
Just don't get hit, idiot. Simple as.
Exactly.
So a lot of people really liked it and hold a soft spot for it. It's got a pretty sizable fan base today, though one that has been starving for content. There has been nothing for them at all. MechAssault 3 was canceled and looks like it is staying forever dead and buried, which isn't necessarily the worst thing ever because its story is unbelievably batshit insane. They were just like, hey, let's go 500 years into the future and then go nuts with everything. At that point, MechAssault 3 probably wouldn't have even been BattleTech. It would have been something else completely different that was just vaguely set in the same universe. MechAssault's story in general is just absolute chaos. It's kind of like being stuck in a tumble dryer full of bricks. You never really know how or where the next surprise is going to hit you, but you know damn well it will. And of course, there is only one faction that has ever been insane or destructive enough that could have been the bad guys for something like this. Would you like to take a guess, Steve? I told you the answer in the first 20 seconds of the video.
It's obviously the Capellans.
You know what? I did walk into that one. The Capellans are the butt of many jokes, so...
Can I go with the clans? Is that a decent backup answer? Or?
Okay, you know what? Fuck. This question was not as one-dimensional as I thought it was. It's the word of Blake, you cheeky shit. Okay? It's the word of Blake. The word of Blake is back again. Good old white Jerome has come back for his vengeance.
I don't know who this word of Blake you're referring to is. I only know them as the cult of Jerome.
So the story of MechAssault takes place during the Word of Blake Jihad. The general setup is that you're a member of the Wolves Dragoons, cough cough Mary Sue's cough cough that we will probably never talk about.
Look, we don't need to bring Daisy Ridley into this, all right?
No.
Leave her alone.
No, we don't. Anyways, you are headed to a world that has been invaded by the Blakists. You play as the Mech Warrior. A mech warrior who is either the luckiest or unluckiest man in the entire inner sphere, because on the one hand, you are heavily implied in-game to be sleeping with Natalia Kerensky, your XO, and at the same time, over the events of MechAssault 1 and 2, you get shot down, like, all the time. This dude collects anti-orbital munitions every other day. Like, you get shot down trying to go to the grocery store. That's how common it is in this goddamn story, I swear. It's so stupid. This dude gets up, goes to drive to the frickin' supermarket, and then on the way there, he gets obliterated by a surface-to-orbit gun. Somehow. It just keeps happening. He can't get away from it.
Can't have shit in Detroit, man.
The first mission is essentially making planet, or I say mission, it's like several cutscenes that lead to the first mission, but when you're making initial planetfall, everything goes horribly wrong, because on approach, you suffer the first of multiple shootdowns, quite expectedly, by anti-orbital and anti-air defenses. From here, the story of the game is essentially a wacky adventure as you chase the Word of Blake across the planet, trying to figure out what they're doing and how to stop their goals. The entire reason the Blakists are here is nothing short of insane. MechAssault just throws entire sections of the lore out to substitute its own gratuitous fanfiction. For you see, in the world of MechAssault, good old White Jerome was actually an ancient immortal, maybe even an ancient alien. The History Channel may have been right, because he has somehow been alive for hundreds of years before he was supposed to be in canon, messing around at the height of the Star League to produce a bunch of semi-magical data cores.
Can we just insert that Dizopolis guy or whatever the fuck it is when you mention these ancient aliens, please?
The dude with the crazy hair who's just like stock image aliens, that guy. Yeah, we can.
There we go. It's in picture printer.
I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was it.
It doesn't necessarily have to be that one, but that one doesn't work.
That one is pretty funny, yeah. So these magical data cores somehow hold the secrets to the greatest weapons known to man. Uber powerful battle mechs, secret new armor designs, super weapons, power armor, Taco Bell food that doesn't make you shit yourself. It's all here, okay? Everything important is here. But because Jerome is in fact not one of the boys, he decided that all of that fun stuff was too powerful for the people of the day and decided to hide the data cores to protect the world from his mad science. And in a classic I'm a genius, but also very, very stupid fashion, he thought his creations were too dangerous to exist, but didn't destroy them. He just like squirreled them away, hid them in a cave somewhere on random planets.
As long as nobody knows where it is, it'll be fine.
Yeah, as long as nobody knows where it is. The Word of Blake has fucking plot armor. They know where everything is, dude. They invented 5 worlds secret. I'm not gonna. We've treaded this before. I can't.
They've created 5 worlds of their own volition.
The hidden worlds, man. It makes me want to scream. We gotta move on from that though. Anyways, the Word of Blake wants these 500-year-old designs because Maholy Word of Blake, or something. This makes about as much sense as someone discovering Da Vinci's doodles and deciding that what they actually discovered was a weapon to rival Metal Gear. Insert that circular tank with cannons all around it, okay? Because these designs are hundreds of years old. The fact that it would somehow be above everything, like it's very, very dumb. We've entirely lost the plot, and you should expect everything to get worse as we go. The crazy train has just left the station. So the Word of Blake invades the world of Helios in order to track down one of the 5 magic data cores Jerome made. Alongside this data core, the Word of Blake was hoping to find some uber-powerful battle mech prototypes that would let them take over the entirety of the inner sphere. So your character, the Mech Warrior, after this shootdown, is the only one combat capable, and you get sent off to secure the surrounding area, destroy some comms equipment, kill some Blakists, commit horrible war crimes against the people of this world in your attempt to liberate them, you know, the usual. Standard. Because after a few missions of just defending yourself, you eventually get your dropship repaired and take off towards actually important strategic facilities, mainly infrastructure of the power generation and transport variety. You also get shot down before you get there, but whatever, you get close enough, the dropship has served its purpose, who cares? Then you go on to destroy multiple bridges for multiple cities, the only viable way in and out of some of them because they're built into the sides of mountains. Which, you know, it's fine. I'm sure that the Word of Blake has killed shield all of the civilians here and the connection to all other necessary services and goods like food or water or, you know, homes and housing. None of that really matters. They've all been evacuated before now, surely. There's no way there's no way those skyscrapers we're fighting through are still inhabited. Then we do what I can only describe as the biggest funny, the holy grail of terrorism, okay? We blow up a nuclear power plant because what could possibly go wrong?
Nothing at all. Best idea they've ever had.
Yeah, congratulations, dear citizen. You're being rescued, he says, standing in front of a growing plume of radioactive fire and swaths of destroyed infrastructure. The entire reason that we did this, by the way, is because the Word of Blake was powering, like, most of that region's operations from this nuclear power plant, so I guess it's justified there. They don't actually, like, level it to rubble or anything, but you do enough damage to the building that you're kind of like, I don't know if this is a good idea, actually. Maybe we shouldn't be shooting this one building. Maybe just shoot the power transfer lines coming out of it instead of the building itself, but, you know, whatever, it's fine.
No.
MechAssault can do it at once.
You see, if we only did the lines, it would have been too easy to replace. We had to do some actual damage.
Well, they burned down all the bridges leading into and out of... How they can't even get anything...
Yeah,
okay.
Semantics.
Okay. They're gonna airdrop power line repair crews from orbit. That's how they're gonna do it.
Yes.
Anyways, it gets way worse. Your dropship is repaired again and then gets shot down again, and this time the Blakeists are trying to end it permanently. So there's a bit of a lull in this part of the game, about 2/3 of the way through, where you're running around to hack comm relays with a stolen mech, fight off patrols and attacks and general grunt work and stuff, right? They're padding out the game's runtime a bit. Then you meet the big bad, Strader, infiltrating his base with a captured suit of battle armor, and the Looney Tunes shenanigans begin. You try to assassinate him in the stolen battle armor. He escapes. You chase him down afterwards with an atlas that you stole from said base you infiltrated. He escapes again. You attack a fleeing convoy hoping to kill him. He was never there, and instead you vaporize his second in command. The big bad is trying to flee again, but this time it's off-world, so you corner him at the spaceport. Guess what happens this time, Steve?
What happens? I would not be guessing. Fuck you.
No, guess. I said guess.
No.
Do it. It's not an option. You don't have a choice here. Guess.
No, I do have a choice. I refuse.
Steve remembering he has free will colorized.
Damn free will remembrance and a post in the Discord today. What the fuck's happening?
Oh my god, yeah, I know, right? Anyways, he goddamn
In case you
tried.
hadn't seen image discussion on that, there's been some discussion on these images.
What a quality edition image printer. What the fuck is that? What is that? Dude, that's purely on his end. Shut up.
Yes, definitely. But still, it's funny.
Alright, that'll go in the video just because it's funny. Anyways, Strader does try to escape. However, you've finally gotten close enough to return the favor for all of those dropship shootdowns by blasting his ride and putting it up on blocks. He is so pissed about his shitbox Honda being destroyed that he marches out to fight you himself in one of those uber-powerful Doom mechs that they came here to find. Very stereotypically named the Ragnarok. Take a guess how this fight goes.
The Ragnarok, in fact, it's not built like a rock, and it fucking dies.
Yes, you are correct. You do kill it. Surprise! The super powerful Doom mech actually gets mogged by some random idiot in a normal mech. You suck. You wasted all your time. What did you expect, Word of Blake? This is a 500-year-old mech. Did you really expect anything different? Yeah, but surprise, double idiot turns out to be you because Strader had a backup plan. A literally never once in BattleTech's history or extended universe ever seen before superweapon that will allow him to blow up the entire planet of Helios.
Is it called the Death Star?
No, it's called the Planet Buster. It's the discount version. It's the Temu version. Oh my god. So, in a heroic final mission, you take one of the two prototype Ragnaroks left after the dropship shootdown and go marching to the Doomsday Drill to stop it. The only way to save the world is to walk into the beam and use the Ragnarok's immense power, boosted by the ancient data core, which you somehow fit into it, like the Matrix of Leadership from Transformers, I guess. I don't know, man. This
makes
shit
sense.
Makes sense. Perfectly fine. Anyways, you use all of this to destabilize and destroy the Planet Buster before it can blow up the world of Helios. And you save the entire world from the word of Blake. Except joke's on you, idiot. Turns out White Jerome hired Nokia to build that data core because somehow, despite the mech being obliterated, the data core is perfectly fine and somehow protects you enough to eject from the mech and survive. I don't know how this happened.
I think that math checks. I think that math checks. We're good. Just keep it pushing, I guess.
At this point, the word of Blake should just throw the data cores at people because clearly everything else on them isn't worth it. The Doomsday mech turned out to fucking suck. You clap that thing like you wouldn't believe. Super easy. The Planet Killer, absolute joke. It's this goddamn data core is the only thing that survives. It's the true power of Jerome Blake. It's just that's the word of the holy word of Jerome is contained on those right there. That's how they're so powerful. A happy ending all around though, you know?
Yeah, definitely all around. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Except for the entirety of the rest of your group, so Alpha and Bravo squads all get wiped out over the campaign.
I didn't like them anyway.
The entirety of the Planetary Defense Force got obliterated, and, probably huge portions of the world's population, and the biosphere might be rotting at this very moment because we destroyed a nuclear power plant.
And the Capellans are still alive, so really not.
Yeah, I know, right? So, maybe it would have been better if we just hadn't come here at all. I don't think anything really would have changed. But ultimately, yeah, MechAssault, a wonderful, hilarious, insane part of BattleTech's family that, for the most part, has been left abandoned. Most likely because the sequel, Lone Wolf, flopped really, really hard in comparison. The original got something like almost 800,000 units sold, and it was like $26 million, so it was very, very popular in the early Xbox era. MechAssault 2 Lone Wolf, however, was like a third of that. Interest apparently just fell off really hard, and Microsoft canceled a third game.
Most average micro slob or something. I don't know.
Well, this is like one of the only times where you can look at that and be like, okay, understandable. Because again, out of like 1.1 million copies sold, it was like 800,000 of them were like the first game. So it doesn't really bode well when you lose like 2/3 of your audience between the sequel.
Was the other one released on next gen or
no, the sequel was released 2 years later. It was 2002, 2004.
When did the next Xbox come out? Wasn't it like 05 or something? So like didn't have
that would be the 360, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it was 2005. So the sequel had a year before the 360 came out. That's plenty of time
for
full
year though.
I mean,
November. So yeah, it would have had it at least 11 months. So
yeah, it was more than enough time.
Excuses.
Yeah, it just flopped. It just didn't perform well. This is pretty much the end of the lore segment, and unfortunately the end of where your contribution is really relevant, because everything that comes after this is talking about Wolves and Project Helios and stuff, which are the fan-made sequels and remasters and stuff that I'm going to be talking about. So thank you very much for showing up today, Steve. Say your final piece, and then I'll execute you.
I am Steve. Goodbye.
Wow, what fitting final words. Later. So, the reason that I have decided to let Steve go here is because he has not played any of the games. He doesn't know what's going on and can't really contribute too much to this segment, so that's why it's functionally just me. He also wasn't privy to the sorta kinda interview, sorta kinda discussion that I had with one of the devs, so like, yeah, you're stuck with me. You're going in the basement now. You are in the basement now. You are Steve now. He gets a 10-minute vacation. Anyways, Wolves is a spiritual successor to the MechAssault series. While there are resurrection servers out there for the old games, they're either feature incomplete or require a hacked version of the Xbox to run custom servers on. Wolves, made by New Day Fiction, on the other hand, has extremely high ambitions. They don't want to just do MechAssault again. They want to make a brand new game with custom maps, game modes, and even a full campaign voiced by the original voice actors if they can get them back. It's also important to note, however, that this is a relatively young project being built entirely by volunteers, 100% for free. As of this video, their license doesn't even let them take donations, though that may be changing going forwards. So everything is purely a labor of love from people deeply involved in the BattleTech fandom. As of right now, Wolves has 3 game modes. Grinder, which isn't the hookup app that crashes every time there's a political convention, but instead single or multiplayer horde mode against gradually increasing waves of increasingly strong mechs. While multiplayer is either deathmatch, very self-explanatory, or the most recent addition, Lance on Lance mode. a game mode that was added midway through production of this video because it has taken me so damn long to get it done. Lance on Lance mode forces you to pick one of each weight class, one light, one medium, one heavy, one assault, then you pile into the game and try to win with whatever composition you've made against another Lance, or in a 4-way free-for-all. I think this is actually really cool because it forces some strategy and creativity into the game, and I think that this kind of game mode should really come to other MechWarrior and BattleTech games like MechWarrior Online. The Lyran Scout Lance tends to be the default meta for a lot of people, but those types of fights tend to turn into meat-beating contests as fat slabs of assault mech try and bludgeon each other to death. So there's very little strategy or tactics in that kind of gameplay. It becomes stale after a while, and it's nice to see that they're genuinely trying to diversify things. However, because of the update, which also fixed a lot of bugs and performance issues, I re-recorded all of the clips and footage at the end segment of this video to be more accurate, and because of this, I could not for the life of me get a game. My schedule means I've always showed up when there is literally nobody else playing, it's private games only, or I missed community game nights or events. The community is very young and very small, so unless you show up for some of these things or you pre-plan with other people when you're gonna play, it can be borderline impossible to actually find matches. There are a few problems, though. I'm not gonna just extol its virtues and say, hey, look at this awesome thing, because that's kind of dishonest. The AI in Grindr is brain dead, in a word, and will routinely just wander off aimlessly or rush straight towards you. Except, for some reason, the light mechs. They seem to monopolize the one brain cell, and I have consistently had the most problems and entertainment fighting them. Weapon balance also feels inconsistent. Autocannons, machine guns, lasers, both regular and pulse, like they all feel great, no issues. Missiles and particle cannons, it's bad. They just feel bad. Now, this is my opinion on it, and some might disagree, and I also want to make it clear, like, this isn't a fundamental design issue, it's a stats issue, I think. The particle cannon charge mechanic is great, the missiles can be fun to use. The big issue with them is that the range brackets of the weapons and their damage just does not match up. Machine guns and stuff will dramatically outperform missiles and particle cannons because they're close-range weapons and they do more damage to compensate for that. But the distance from your longest range weapon to your closest ranged weapon takes less than 3 seconds for most mechs to close. So you get, at most, one useful shot out of your LRMs or your particle cannons before it's just better to switch over to knife fighting weapons. This could be fixed mostly by changing the numbers, like make them longer range, give them better tracking and faster projectile speed, and they could be worth using cross-map and not feel bad to play with or against because their damage isn't that high. But as it stands right now, there's just like no reason to use them. On a side note, I would also adore loadout customization. I'm not asking for tabletop or rogue tech or MechWarrior 5 or anything even remotely close, but maybe add in some weapon variants like swapping pulses to beams or missiles to particle cannons or something, because as it stands, I'd love to play the Mad Cat Mark II, but the autocannon, LRM, particle cannon loadout that all generate shitloads of heat and do no damage, it sucks. It feels awful. It's a slow brick. Let me use literally anything else with it, please. However, despite the fact that I have some issues with the game, I want to reiterate this is being made from the ground up for free by passionate volunteers. The game is tiny and fast to download, so there's no reason not to at least check it out. I've gotten about 20 hours worth of enjoyment out of it personally, playing alone or in pub games. I don't think this is the kind of game that you're going to pull like hundreds of hours out of every month because it just doesn't have that it just doesn't have enough content for that. But if you show up during events, game nights, or whenever they push a major update, which major updates are planned for every month, so pretty consistently, then you can certainly get some fun out of this. And I'm interested to see where it goes. However, if you do want something else MechAssault related to sink your teeth into, there's also Project Helios. I was originally asked to talk about Wolves, but I also feel like I should talk about Project Helios, even if briefly. Wolves and Helios are not related in any official capacity. However, 3 of the people working on Wolves have also been full rebuilding MechAssault 1's campaign in MechWarrior 5. So far, they've gotten about 12 of the 20-odd missions done, so about halfway through, and Project Helios is downloadable through the Steam Workshop. So if you have MechWarrior 5 and its DLCs, you can just go in there, subscribe to the mod, follow the steps, and everything should work fine. But yeah, that pretty much concludes the video. Last thing is that I was specifically asked to tell you all, if you're going to download Wolves to try it out, don't download it from the Discord or any other second-hand locations you might find it. Those are standalone files. Go to the website linked in the description or pinned comment and download it there, because that's the version that lets them push updates automatically without each person needing to re-download the latest version manually. And that pretty much concludes the video. If you made it this far, you're clearly the target audience, you enjoyed it, or you were just along for the ride and decided to stay for the insanity, in which case, why not leave a like, subscribe, comment down below, check out some of our other stuff. You never know what you might find that's just as entertaining or more. All of it really helps the channel out against the YouTube algorithm. If you're feeling more generous, we do have channel memberships where you can throw a few bucks at our Staying Alive fund, and as mentioned in the video, and occasionally get to vote on what content gets made. Last time was the Word of Blake, which turned into a bloated nightmare, which I'm never picking a topic that broad or general again. If, however, you just want to hang out, we have a Discord community full of fellow turbo nerds where you can chill, hang out, share your projects, hobbies, and generally just shoot the shit with fellow nerds, as well as occasionally having community game nights. To all the people already supporting the channel, a huge thanks to the coffee vendors, making sure that I am ever caffeinated and ready to go at all times, every day. To the food vendors, making sure that my co-host is well sedated and looked after so he doesn't die in captivity. A huge thank you to you guys as well. And to the arms dealers who supplied all the tools and toys you saw in today's video, a huge thanks to you guys as well. I have an absolute mess of special custom MechAssault mechs. They all turn 360 degrees, and I don't really know how to feel about that. They're kind of ripping off the Urban Mechs shtick. But with that having been said, check out Wolves and Project Helios. I think they deserve some attention and love, and yeah, that's it. Goodbye!